So I wanted to take a little bit of time to film a video about dealing with biological parents when you're a foster parent. This is not my children stuff. This is actually my stuff. I'm a college student. So fun things about foster care, but I didn't set this up, so there's no good background here. So I'm sorry for that. You're kind of getting my real life. But anyway, dealing with parents. As a foster parent, you take these kids in and you don't know where they come from or who has been in and out of their lives or really how many times they've been out of care. Sometimes all you know is their first and last name and their gender. And that's pretty much it before they show up at your house. Once you have them for a while, depending on kind of how the situation is going, you will probably end up meeting the biological parents at some point. A lot of times this happens at court. The first time you meet the parents is at court. And it can be difficult. You can have a lot of really mixed emotions about what you're going to feel towards these parents. Personally, I would say I'm unusual. Not that I'm trying to brag, but I didn't have a lot of anger towards our foster children's parents, but that's just because God set me up to be a foster mom. He put so many people in my life through my professional experience that I didn't want to deal with, or I didn't like to work with, or I just really couldn't stand. And he taught me how to push past all of my human emotions and see those people for how he saw them and what they could be, and also to see where they've come from and what has affected their lives and why they turned out the way they did. So when I run into biological parents for our foster children, first of all, our kids look exactly like their parents. So you see them, and to me, I see my kids. I don't see some horrible person. And I'm not going to explain why they were removed and all that stuff. That's not anybody's business. But I just want to, if you're thinking about becoming a foster parent and you're worried about dealing with the biological parent, from a Christian perspective, if you allow him, God will give you the grace to see those people and see that, you're caring for their children, but you're in this position most likely because nobody cared for that person when they were a child. And so now they've had children and they're perpetuating a cycle that they've grown up in. And that's a lot. The majority of the time, that's what's happened, is they are doing the best they can with what they were given in life. And most of the time, that's how we all parent. I parent like my parents did for the most part. There are some changes just because I'm a foster mom. I don't have biological children, but if we adopt, I will be parenting a lot like how my parents parented, and I still do. The same attitudes come through, the same end goals are put out there, and a lot of times that's all these parents are doing, is they're doing what they knew happened when they were a child. So they think this is normal. They don't understand that maybe, they don't understand that physical abuse is something that you shouldn't do as a parent. And for those of you out there who are thinking no, that's impossible, how can they not know? I promise you, they do not know. They are going with what they know. Now, there are some people out there, yes, they know what they are doing is wrong and they are just heartless people, and that's how it is. But that is not the case most of the time for these kids in care. A lot of times you're going to have parents who are struggling with addiction, or parents who are struggling to find employment, or parents who have mental health issues. A lot of times it's mental health issues. Because they were not supported and raised as a child appropriately. And so they never learned how to cope, and they learned how to cope in maladaptive ways. So they learned how to cope in ways that were harmful, or not productive for them. And that's how they're dealing with life. And I know, like, people think, well, you're the adult. There comes a point when you're responsible for your actions. Well, all I have to say to that is, if you're a Christian, Jesus forgives you every day for every single thing that you do wrong. All that you're asked to do is give that to someone else. Give someone else that grace. Because a lot of times these parents don't have anybody else believing in them. And you look at them and it looks to them like the entire world is against them. Sometimes, their kids are the only people that they feel love from. And now their kids are gone and they don't have the motivation to get out of bed in the morning and do what they need to do. It's hard. And a lot of these parents, they fight hard to get their kids back. And if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a foster parent, you're hoping that these parents are going to get their lives back together and that they're going to be able to do what they need to do to get these kids back. Because ultimately, that's the goal. That's what should happen. You should be hoping for those kids to go home. Because especially when you have older children, they knew their mom. They knew their dad. To them, they have a mom and a dad, and you were not it. And you need to be respectful of that. In our home, we are very respectful of our children's parents. And we require that others that come into our house are also respectful. I've had a case manager come in and she didn't say anything super negative, but it was something I was uncomfortable with. And I politely asked her that she respect our girl's parents in our house, because that is how we behave. Sometimes, different staff, John and I have only been doing this for a year, a little less than a year. It's like 11 months. So we're not as jaded as other people. Sometimes you're going to get staff and they're going to have done this for a while and they're going to be tired and they're going to give up. But for your kids' sake, you need to have hope and you need to have faith in these parents and you need to believe in them, because somebody needs to be. And I'm not saying that you go out of your way to, help them, but you can pray for them. You can, support them by making sure that their children have people in their lives who do not talk negatively about their parents. I'm not saying you don't tell the truth, and I can do a whole nother video on that, but, if you have interaction, I have the benefit of having interaction with the girls' parents on a fairly regular basis because I transport them to visits and I see their mom at court. And so I know that their parents love them and that they're just having a hard time. They're having a really hard time. Everybody has hard times. It's just some of us are equipped with the skills to deal with it and others of us don't. Benefit of being a psychology student. So depression is actually the leading cause of people not being able to function appropriately in society. Depression it's like a weight and it just wears you down and it pulls you in. And if you do not have a support system in your life that's going to help hold you up and push you through and get you going, it will take away your joy in your life. And that's just one of the many mental health issues that go on with foster care in general. And that can be kids too. You can have children in your care who are depressed and it presents as like ADHD. It presents as they just can't sit still or they're just unhappy. And it's sad, but it's true. These are the things that you're getting into when you become a foster parent. And these people are doing what they can and they're trying hard, and even if it's hard, even on days when you think that you're going to be so angry because they've missed so many visits or they've just not been able to get it together or whatever, I promise, if you allow God to be in your heart and in this situation, you will figure out a way to overcome those feelings and be supportive and be the person that you need to be in that moment. So yeah, that's my spiel on dealing with biological parents. If you guys have any questions or you want to, you have a suggestion for a topic that you'd like to see about foster care, just let me know. You can leave it in the comments. I post most of this to Facebook, so I'm assuming that's who's watching it. If you guys have anything, you can leave a comment there. But yeah, thanks for watching.